I got to kick this thing off. Can I kick it off? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, listen.
Conversate with Us Radio presents the Man Listen Show. We are the blackest radio show on the internet. We bring you our opinion on topics that affect the Black community in an effort to enlighten, enrich, and empower every brother and sister that falls under the sound of our voice. We operate on a no-hating frequency, so be prepared for us to keep it 100% real and 100% Black all the time. Please follow the show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Man Listen Show. You can subscribe to the show on YouTube, hit that bell icon so you get notified when we have a new show. Cop some merch. Go to our bio. You can find out how to buy some merch. You can go to our website, www.manlistenshow.com. You can listen to old episodes and find everywhere where we post it. Make sure you tell everybody about the blackest radio show on the internet, the Man Listen Show. I'm your host, Marv B. Let's bring the crew in. All right, we got all four today. All right, I love it. So, this boy John Morant, man. I think he's heading down the Kanye lane. You know, he's gonna be one of them people we talk about multiple times on the show. You know, because it don't seem like he get it. But he's back. He was back in the news. He got caught up brandishing a pistol again, using a ride on. Now, this is the most self-snitching generation I've ever seen in my life.
Ever.
I mean, I never seen so. My mama told me back in the day. Rest in peace, Mildred Banks. You can't tell on yourself. you can't tell on yourself. And if you tell on yourself, hey, you ain't got nobody else to blame but you. So these cats are some self-snitching. It's just terrible. Like I said, we talked about last episode. I watched that the King Von documentary, and that's all they did. Twitter, just talking about who they was killing, who they was about to kill, and all this, that, and the other. And Ja, he already got in trouble. We talked about on the previous show. He got in trouble. He was at some club brandishing a pistol, and he was with one of his homeboys, and he was on his homeboy's live, and they was dancing, singing to a song, and he pulled out a pistol again. And the screenshot committee got it quick, and they put it out there. The next thing you know, hey, he's suspended from all team activities, and the league is looking at what's going on. There's a lot of back and forth about this, whether people are being too hard on him, whether the boy is slow or what. We'll just go ahead and talk about our first reactions, and then we'll start talking into like some of the counterpoints that people are putting down in social media. But I'll start off with my two sports experts. Lav C, what did y'all think when y'all saw this, man?
When I first saw it, I was shocked, man, because I can't comprehend. Like you said, self-snitching. Is it really that hard? Just not you could do that. You could be that dude. Just don't go on IG Live. You know what I mean? I mean, you could if he didn't go live ever, he could be that dude doing whatever he wanted to do. He could be throwing up pistols. He could be riding with a gun out the window, and we would never know. So it's more about, that's the thing to me. It just shows bad decision making. That's the whole thing for me. It just shows he has poor decision making.
When I first saw it, I was like, that boy, if we had just like a definition of self-destruction and you needed a picture, it would be him. Like, I've never seen anybody who just self-sabotages themselves the way he does. Like, he just lost $40 million for doing the same thing, and then he does it again. And I'm pro Second Amendment, so I don't have no problem with him having a gun. In fact, he probably needs one, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that try him. But you only pull it out when you need it, when you intend to do something with it. When you need to protect yourself. He's this day and age, like that age group, was just pulling it out, having fun, wanting to show off. And that's why, he pulls it out. He knew his friend was on live. Like, he knew his friend was, he had the phone up for like several minutes before he did it. So, he knew what he was doing.
I just think it's hilarious. We've talked about it so many times. And I've talked about how all of my clients, not all of them, I told you there's a select few, maybe a 5% window of my criminal defendants that don't tell on themselves, but they just do. They can't help themselves. And it really like, I don't understand it. Like, I got a speeding ticket the other day and he was just like, did you know you was going 60 and 40? I was like, me? No,
Right. Yeah. You
I
can't
wasn't.
you can't tell on yourself. And
Never.
yeah. And we
You will
got
never be able to use my statements against me.
and I think the thing that we need to address, I mean, there's several things that need to be addressed, but what I want to address is why does he feel that the image of being a pro basketball player isn't enough, right? Like there's so many people who want to be NBA players. Like they show the stats to college athletes, right? There's like so many of y'all that play high school basketball, only so many of y'all will make it to college, only so many of y'all will make it professional, and very few of y'all will make it to the NBA. People talk about and they envy and they want to be NBA basketball players. And not only is he an NBA basketball player, he ain't a role player. This dude was on the cusp of being one of the future stars of the league. You know, he was on that trajectory of being like Allen Iverson. He could have been set up how AI was, changing the culture. Now AI has some problems, himself, right? Trying to grow up and everything. But he was on the cusp of being something very big. And I still hope that he could do that. But why do you have to embrace and try to portray this thug image? And I call it a thug image, gang image, whatever you want to call it. What are you trying to compensate for? Because you would think that being a professional basketball player at the top of the game, you would think that that would be enough. But trying to compensate by trying to do something that people who every day would love to switch roles with you and get out of that life and not have to worry about, carrying a pistol. I mean, C says he probably needs it. See, at this point in his life, with the money that he's making, he can have security. He can have security. He don't need to carry the pistol. He can have people with him that do. And I see a lot of people on social media talking about what did he actually do wrong. He had a pistol. He didn't shoot anybody. He just had a pistol. What did he actually do wrong? I would say that with the power that he has as a role model, whether he wants to be it or not, he is somewhat of a role model to a lot of young Black men. And with the amount of violence that we see in some of our communities, this brandishing of guns and this fashion, it's not something that we really need to be promoting. He definitely doesn't need to be attaching that type of lifestyle, that type of image to his brand. What do y'all think about folks that say, well, he really didn't do nothing wrong, so why are we being so hard on him? Are they off base?
Well, so everybody's saying he didn't do anything wrong, but yes, he did, because it's the organization that he works for and just their morals and their values and what they have. I mean, it's not like he did anything illegal. No, they're absolutely right. He did nothing wrong. If he's legally able to carry that firearm, he can. I mean, there's a lot of things that you could do and work for one company that you can't do and work for another company. No one's saying he should get arrested or anything like that. It's just that you cannot do that and work for the NBA or whatever certain organization you work for. And I think had he had been like at a gun range and like, didn't have his finger on the trigger, and I didn't look hard enough to see like what his trigger discipline looked like. I don't know if his finger was on the trigger or not.
It was on point. It was on point.
I was pointed up. Okay. So, but if he would have been like at a gun range or there's something, holding a gun versus playing a rap song, and then the lyrics they were talking about in the capacity of using that gun while he was holding the air, I think that was the problem. So I don't think it was just so much that he had a gun, it was just playing that song and in the lyrics they were talking about, like you said, that thug image during that song, and then that's for him and his friend. So his friend was doing like this with the two fingers, which is what Josh should have did, and then Josh actually pulls out the gun. So I think had he, people are trying to compare him to politicians taking Christmas cards and things like that. Like, it's not the same thing. You don't work for the same company. There's a lot of things that you could do. That's just the same way if there's a woman that decides to take nudes or strip in her spare time. There's probably a lot of things she can do. She probably can't be the first lady of the church or be a school teacher. So, I mean, but there's a lot of other jobs where it's just fine. What you do at night is what you do at night. And so I think that's the difference.
And we've seen teachers get fired because they had OnlyFans or
Yeah, it's not illegal.
not
You
even
just
having
can't
the
do it.
OnlyFans. They just dress too provocative for social media.
Right.
And
Right.
to your point, Steve, they people are out there, they're trying to defend him. And I mean, like I said, he didn't do, like you said, he didn't do anything illegal, but they started bringing up pictures of different NBA athletes on the range, holding, holding rifles, holding machine guns. But again, they were on the range and it was somewhat appropriate the setting that they were on. So I don't know, man. I think people are trying to cut this young man some slack, and I think that I really don't want him to lose money, but unfortunately, I think that might be what's going to happen and what needs to happen to get through to him. You would think. C talked about losing 40 mil. So what happened was he was eligible to, and Lab, correct me if I'm wrong, C, correct me if I'm wrong, he was eligible for a Supermax contract, but because of the suspension and because of the days he missed, and because he wasn't able to make one of the NBA all league teams, first, second, and third, that kicker that comes with being put on those teams lost him 40 mil. And because of his level of play and how his team did, more than likely, had he played the whole season, he would have been on one of the all league teams. So he lost himself 40 million. Now, what he's going to lose from this now going forward, I don't know. I think I saw Stephen A. Smith say guaranteed they're probably going to sit him down for half the season next year. So, and I don't know what that's going to do, whether that's just like, hey, we're going to send a message to all the other players that this isn't what we want, but that's what they're saying may happen. They're going to sit him down for half the season.
I think you made a good point about how we see him, but we have to think about how he sees him. So, like for me, when you say we see him as this basketball player, this role model, this, that's not necessarily how he sees himself. Like when I meet people, I never introduce myself as a lawyer. I never introduce myself as anything that has to do with educational accomplishments or anything like that. Like that's just not how I see myself, and that's not how I represent myself out in public. And if you catch me being me with my family, it's a lot different than what the idea of what my accomplishments may, purport me to be as a role model in some areas. And it's just not going to match up in a lot of people's eyes. And I'm not justifying what he did, because obviously anytime you drop in a $40 million bag, you've made a lot of mistakes. But what I'm saying is I think that it's not necessarily that he's not living up to what he's supposed to be living up to, is that he doesn't even see himself in the same way that other people see him. And until he changes his mindset, he's going to keep getting into situations like this, because obviously he still sees himself as just, a whatever year old kid, 19, 20, whatever year old kid running around with his friends doing dumb stuff. 23,
he's 23.
Entirely too old, but he just sees himself as a 23-year-old kid running around doing dumb stuff.
I'm gonna say this: at 23, I was stupid. I was still doing a whole lot of dumb stuff.
Oh, for sure. And I was a mother. I was still doing dumb stuff.
Yeah, but my thing is, you're not a celebrity attorney yet. This young man is a celebrity. He is. He really can't just walk anywhere, like at a mall or a store, and people not say, "There goes John Morant." Now, maybe around a bunch of white folks, he probably can do that. But
they know him more. They got more jerseys than we do.
Maybe a lot of old white people, he could do that. But the fact that you say that he doesn't see himself, and I agree with you. That's the point I'm trying to say. What is going on inside of him, where whatever the accomplishments that he has, it's not enough. And
I don't think
you're looking for some sort of credibility from the street that really don't. Now they don't want to see you doing what you're doing. They don't want to see you doing what you're doing. And this friend that was with him, hold on, I'm gonna get to you. This friend that was with him, he low-key tried to save him, right? Because he was up doing the thing, and I don't think he realized like this dude gonna pull out the gun. Cause like as soon as he had it, he threw it down. I was like, damn, I watched the video, and I was like, somebody really, really had to have it out for him, because they slowed that down tremendously, because it was like real quick when he dropped that phone. The only thing that he didn't do was just say, hey, dog, you don't need a pistol. Let us have the guns, and you just be with us, right? So you got plausible deniability. And apparently, this cat that was on the live, his live that he was on, this dude had been banned from the arena.
Yep.
He had a couple issues that they was like, nah, man, this dude right here, he can't come back because he's a problem.
All right, check it out. We're gonna get right back to the show. But listen, you want to support the show, donate to the show, go to our bio, hit our Cash App, $ Man Listen Show.
No, I was gonna say, you said, what is it about him? I don't think it's unique to Ja, though. I think that we talk about it, people living their truths and being their unique selves, but for a lot of times we don't think about it. But there's a lot of Black men in the US and our society that they aren't their true authentic selves. They put on a role, they play this hyper masculine role or try to hyper gangster role. They feel that that's what they have to play. And I don't think it's a coincidence of the music that was going on in the background. And so that plays a role into it as well. I think they said he was listening to NBA YoungBoy. So, you think about that, that's you play on that.
The NBA YoungBoy stay in some controversy.
Right. And so that's what I say. So you think about it that way, his name is NBA YoungBoy. Now, of course, stands for Never Broke Again or whatever, but he say NBA. Rappers want to be athletes. Athletes want to be rappers, man. It's like the lines were blurred a long time ago. And these guys think each of them think they're living out each other's lives. And so it's a deeper thing. It's not just Ja. He's just the one that's in the spotlight right now. He has the most to lose out of anybody. And I just don't go on live, man. I mean, that's all I got to say. You could, if that's who you feel is your authentic self, that's who you want to be, that's cool. Be that dude. Don't go on live though.
You gotta take phones at the door like Drake.
Yeah. Say it again.
You gotta take phones at the door like Drake.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you don't just have a house party with a close few and don't let electronic devices in.
Yeah, and then riding around, like, I don't know why he was riding around like that. Like, I get hyped to music too. Like in the car, my music is all the way to the max, especially if I'm on the way to the gym. But that fool was like so hyped to the point where he pulled his gun out and started dancing with it. Like, go home. Like, go home. Like, what are you doing?
The night should end.
Yeah.
But that's my point though. It's like I say about people who ride around with drugs in their pockets. Do the drugs at home and then go outside. Or do the drugs at home and stay inside. Why do you have to ride around with drugs on you and then be surprised when you get arrested and go to jail for possession?
Well, some of the delivery drivers, though.
Well, that's possession with intent. That's a different conversation. But these people who be like, I just had a little bit of meth on me. Sir, you had meth. I don't want to have this conversation about how much meth.
But you're asking a question that comes from a rational and logical mind. We can't expect that from drug addicts. And honestly, we can't expect too many rational and logical decisions from a 23-year-old. Now, I only let that go so far because there's a whole bunch of other 23-year-olds that are in the league that don't do all the stupid mess that this young boy does. And I mean, he's a grown man, so I'm not gonna call him a boy. But there's a lot of other ones that don't do the dumb stuff that he's been doing. And the fact that you not only got caught once, but a second time. So the first time wasn't enough.
Define caught.
Huh? What'd you say?
Define caught. He told on himself. Define caught. Like,
I mean, okay, yeah, you're right.
Scared yourself doing something that you knew you could get in trouble for.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know what y'all think. I mean, like I said, your boy Stephen A. Smith, y'all's boy Stephen A. Smith said, he had good intel that it's going to be half a season. I mean, I guess when he got suspended before, he was supposed to be going to rehab or the therapy. A lot of people said, man, this cat, he needs some therapy. I think he needs a stern talking to. I think he needs
a better circle.
Well,
he needs a better circle around him.
Better circle.
That's obvious. But at what point do you make that decision that the people that I'm around aren't the people that I need to be hanging with? I'll tell a story about myself. When I first moved to a certain city, I ain't gonna tell the city because some of the dudes might watch the show and I don't want to offend them. But every time that I was out with these dudes, right? Every time I was out with these dudes, they weren't my core guys, right? Because I moved around a lot. But I moved to a new city and these dudes embraced me, and they were good dudes. They took care of me. But every time we went out, we was always getting into it with some other guys. Like, we're about to fight this dude. We're about to fight this dude. So every single time. There was a couple times when we actually got into skirmishes. And I come from a place, man, where cats don't really fight. They don't sit there and just brawl. I mean, guns come out, and you could lose your life. And at that time, I was a young husband, young children, and I said, man, I can't hang with these dudes no more. And these were grown dudes with careers that were acting that way. We were all like in our late 20s. Some may have been in their early 30s, and they were operating like this. So that's why I would say, for most men, and I'll speak for myself and a lot of other guys, if they're honest with themselves, you don't really stop being dumb as a man until you get into like your late 30s. For me, that's when I started, like, I really grew up and I started being wise. You know, a smart man learns from his own mistakes. I tell my son this all the time. Smart man learns from his own mistakes. A wise man learns from the mistakes of others. And again, I just, like you said, he needs a new circle, but he needs somebody that can get through to him. He needs the right messenger that can get through to him and say, this is why you need, maybe you just need to walk alone. Just be with your teammates, dude. Just be with your teammates and with your mom and your daddy or somebody, or your little brother or something like that. But until you find some cats, because, and I don't understand the dudes that's with them, because obviously y'all broke and y'all messing up the dude that's got the bag. How that makes sense?
I really can't really blame them though, like, because the dude he was with had, you know what I'm saying? He, like I said, he used his fingers to, to show, like, he was holding a gun. It's Ja the one who pulled out the gun, and I'm pretty sure Ja don't listen to them. If they're the same age, like, Ja needs probably an older person in his life, like you said, somebody who's probably late 30s to really, take him under the wing. He's not gonna listen to his homeboys that he's financing. Every time they go out, he got to pay for food. He paying for the drink. They can't tell him what to do. He's not listening to them.
Yeah, but he cares about their opinion enough that they could be like, "Hey, bro, you don't need to do that." I mean, even when I was young and dumb, our crew could tell me like, "Bro, you tripping."
Yeah.
Yeah, but he doesn't. He's not doing it for his crew,
tripping.
though. He's not doing it for the crew. He's putting on a show. Like, he knows he's being recorded. Like Arika said, he's telling on himself. He wants the world to see. Like, he wants people to think of him in a different way than what he is. So it's not his homeboys. If that's the case, like Arika said, he just throw a party and tell his homeboys to come over and then dance.
Accountability.
And that team is awful young though, right? Because you would think that the team would be able to get
they are.
Like an older player that could be like, "Look, young fella, when you got practice, you coming with me. We're gonna shoot hoops, or we're gonna do whatever to try to like steer him in the right way." And some people were just incorrigible, man. Some people are just incorrigible. Is that the way? Is that the way you say the word incorrigible? Or that's the way
That's the right way you say it.
That's the way we're saying it today.
That's the way we're gonna say it. Some people
I'm gonna encourage you to say it that way. So,
some people are incorrigible, and he might be. Because, I mean, you think about Pac-Man Jones. Pac-Man was making a ton of mistakes. So the league finally had to be like, was it Jerry Jones? His racist ass. Had to hire security for Pac-Man to say, "Hey, man, you just stay with this dude. Keep him out of trouble. He's not valuable to us. You stay with him, keep him out of trouble." And I think Pac-Man tried to fight the dude that was supposed to keep him out of trouble.
That's babysitting.
Yeah. And that's another aspect that, a lot of you don't think about it. It might be time for the Grizzlies to be like, hey, this is, I hate to put it this way, but this is one of our quote unquote assets, and we got to protect our assets and protect our brand. And, they make somebody responsible for him.
If you're getting suspended for half the season, are you an asset or a liability?
He's still an asset, because without him,
I think long term, he's an
salary cap though.
No.
There's not many other John Morants that's going to come through the draft.
I think long term,
especially to play in Memphis.
That's what I mean.
Because we all know how I feel about Memphis. So
right, that's another aspect of it too. Where he's playing at. That doesn't send the right message in that area. We know that's one of the areas that's plagued by gun violence, and specifically handgun violence in the Black community. So,
yeah. I don't know.
I just see him being another Antonio Brown. I feel like he's just gonna mess it up in the end.
Keep going and going. he has to be personally responsible. Everybody can't save him, and you have to want a mentor. You have to want to listen to an older, player or a person that's been through. You have to want to do these things. He's the person initiating all of this stuff.
Right.
It's like he's got a friend that recorded him doing this stuff and then posted it, and he got in trouble. He's the one. He's the culprit. He's the person. At some point, we have to hold him personally accountable for the decisions that he's making, and not call out his circle, and not call out he needs a grown babysitter because he's worth millions of dollars because he can run, jump, fetch, and catch. You know how I feel about $1 million athletes. But at the same time, it's like, at what point are we going to say he's making these decisions and he needs to stand on them?
I don't think anybody is trying to take away accountability for him. I do think that there are factors that need to be addressed.
Yeah, and
those
and
factors are the circle that he has,
mm-hmm.
and also the lack of self-esteem. I'll go ahead and say it: the lack of self-esteem or self-worth that you feel like I have to portray. Like I said from the beginning of the show, I have to portray this type of image to make myself seem like I'm tough or I'm hard or that I'm worthy to be respected.
Mm-hmm.
You being an NBA star is enough for you to be respected. Why is that not enough? And that's the question that I have. And I mean, we talked about it. Somebody needs to talk to him. People often talking about his dad, talking about his mom on the previous show. We talked about how his mom was probably one of the people that was getting him into stuff, right? Because like, wasn't on one of the situations lab when he went up to the Foot Locker and him and his boys were trying to intimidate the people because they talk bad about his mama. And again, like I said, when it comes to mamas, I'm with him on that. I would have rolled for my mama too. But you're beating up on young high schoolers because they come and they playing against you, they scoring on you. Now you got, two situations where you're pulling out a pistol. Like, what's going on, man? Like, what's going on? So, how y'all think they're gonna handle it?
I think they are gonna suspend him. I 40 games or basically half the season. That seems like a lot to me. That like we established, he did not break any laws. I mean, we are in a society overall, we're very gun happy. I don't know what their rules are as far as the CBA. I mean, I'd have to dig into that to see, is there something that says you cannot promote, because for a while they had rules where as an athlete you can't promote anything to do with gambling or such and such, just things that's not illegal, but we just don't want that associated with our league or with our team. I don't know if they have something on the books with regard to handguns, firearms, or weapons. I don't know.
It's detrimental to the league, to the image of the league. So I guess they probably have some way, because like you got to think about it. They want to put asses in the seats.
Mm-hmm.
Want to sell those luxury suites, and they want to sell jerseys.
But all those people buying those are a lot of them are more than likely Second Amendment backers who got a cache of guns in the truck in the parking lot.
Second Amendment, except for us.
Us. There's a reason why. There's a reason why the NRA ain't said nothing about leave that boy alone.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm. Yeah, well,
there's a reason why.
It's not the same thing.
Yeah,
it's not the same thing.
See, you start rhyming. Look, see.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. What I'm saying is you can't. I said that I'm pro Second Amendment. Had Ja been walking around, there's a lot of open carry states. I live in one. So I think had he had just been walking in Walmart or walking to, down the street or anything and had it even on his hip, I think he would have been fine. What'd you say? I didn't hear what you said.
The police would have shot him if he was walking down the street with a gun.
And shout out to rest in peace to
John Crawford.
John Crawford. He was in the open carry state and the police blew him away.
Yep.
So
that is true, but we're talking about Ja in this situation. So what I'm saying now is,
he only 6'2" though, 6'3". He looked like average dude.
Had Ja been had the gun in just like in any different way, like because Draymond has posed a lot with guns. So it's not it's the way he was doing it. He was dancing to a song that talks about killing black men, killing other black men, and he's already been warned
and trying
once.
To be menacing. The way you branded it, you're trying to be menacing.
It's not the same. Like I think
he had done it to a country song.
I mean, I don't know what they talk about in those songs. That's the one genre I cannot do. I'll admit, I listen to a lot of rock. I listen to hip hop, rap, R&B. I listen to rock, country. I'm out. I can't. That is some of the most depressing music ever. So I don't know what they rap about. What's good, everybody? To listen to any of our past shows, go to www.manlistenshow.com. And if you want to add right here in the show, you can do the same thing.
You listen to the Brat. Speaking of Jersey, Brat, you seen Brat had that jersey with this hole cut in it for a baby bump.
She deserved all the smoke she got. She deserved it.
I mean, I think it's some sexism when it comes to that, because is it sexism? No. I'm gonna have to say it's what's the word when you talk about gay folks? Homophobia.
No, I think
it is. Let me finish. If Brat wasn't a stud, she probably wouldn't have got as much, right? There's a reason why Brat showing her pregnant belly, and people talk. Well, a lot of it was because they was mad because she was talking about black folks, and we got a white sperm donor and all that stuff. People probably still mad about that, right? But there's a reason why Brat showing her pregnant belly in that ugly old jersey was getting a lot of flack. But Janelle Monáe Janelle Monáe put out a video, and it was all about the lesbian action. The reason why
videos, yes,
man, I watched that about 80 times. But listen, there's a reason why the Brat is getting. I think it's because she's a stud, and Janelle Monáe is what you quote unquote call lipstick. I don't think Janelle Monáe is a lesbian, though. I think she said she's pansexual or something like that.
I think it was the Brat's jersey. I think if that would have been a pregnant, feminine woman, and that she had on that jersey built like that box up there, like the Brat's built, I think she would have caught the same heat. And you're right, it probably does have a lot to do with what she said about her sperm choice, but you can't make no excuses. I don't care if the Brat was heterosexual. They was going to talk about her in the outfit, and she deserved it.
Jerseys are on par for the Brat, though.
Yeah.
Why she need to see that?
She stayed on brand and then displayed her baby bump. Yeah, she's a jersey wearing human.
She could have write the jersey with a sports bra.
So that's what I was about to say.
You know what I'm saying?
I swear, Marv took exactly what I was about to say. She could have wore a sports bra and wear the same baseball jersey button up. Like, she chose to wear a baseball jersey and then cut. I don't know who made it. Who made it? Like, when she showed up, though, they should have been like, "Okay, ma'am, you have to go back and get something else." Like, they let her actually walk out on that stage and embarrass herself like that. I'm like, dang. She needs a better circle too.
She got the same circle John Morant got. They just do what she want to do.
I'm saying her circle set her up, boy.
And then I'm just glad didn't nobody judge my maternity outfits, because I just wore Brandon's clothes our first pregnancy. I was like, I'm not buying maternity clothes.
It's better than what she made.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't. If people hadn't made you, if I saw the picture, I would have just been like, dang, that looks kind of weird. I wouldn't have. But once people started making, like, I saw a meme, we had the Jordan face, because it was like a Bulls jersey.
The Jordan crying face.
The Jordan crying face and the little cutout. And after I saw that, I just started seeing all other ones, man. I was like, man,
it was god awful. When I first saw it, before I read one comment, I said, oh my God, what is she doing?
But I do think that, number one, I maintain. She was lipstick or more feminine.
Rihanna wouldn't have got that pushback with that exact same outfit.
Rihanna wouldn't have wore that bullshit, number one. But number two, the comments that she made about the sperm donor that they chose. And again, we talk about a self-snitching generation. Brat and Judy old enough to know better. They ain't have to say, yo, when we didn't see a black man we liked because of genetic markers and all that stuff, they could have just had the baby. Now, maybe they were just like, hey, listen, this baby mess around, be a throwback baby.
Exactly. That's what I was saying.
All the way white and have no black features.
Exactly.
But, maybe they were trying to do some damage control ahead of time, but that's your damn baby.
We got enough light
to though. Hey, we got enough light brights in the community. Look at y'all. You know what I'm saying? So they would have made it.
He did not just say y'all.
Right.
Did
You
not
got
just say
nerve. You
y'all.
got nerve.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
make
but
that
yeah,
make sense.
but
No,
they
I don't think they were trying to get ahead of it. I think she was trying to be funny.
yeah, then they try to backdoor and say, oh well,
Yeah.
she made an awful joke by calling the one black donor Jiminy Cricket. Like, come on.
Mhm. And then tried to bring up, oh, she has all these genetic markers from, this illness and that. And I'm like, y'all got way too much money, way too many resources. I didn't know too many people that have done it. 3, matter of fact, and they got a lot less money and a lot less resources.
Really?
Yeah.
Because see, I said the same thing. I was like, y'all got enough money to just go out there and pick you a dude. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Sabrina was gonna let you grab Idris, but I mean,
Yeah.
where is his
You
lookalike?
thought she was gonna get him?
I'm just saying, I would have asked.
Sabrina was gonna want to
Would've at
carry it
least
in.
Yeah.
I would have at least asked. I was like,
No,
Sabrina,
they had there's other resources.
Yeah, they
you,
could have.
you,
But anyway, I think we talked about it enough. Ja, get your act together, bro. It's really time
Man.
for you to grow all the way up. I don't want you to lose your money, but more importantly, your image and your status as an NBA player, as a young black man, it matters. And you got too many eyes on you. And the eyes that matter the most are other young black men who are in the game, who want to be in the game, and are looking to you as an example, whether you want to be that example or not. And you really need to step it up and wise up. And whether it comes to changing your circle, whether it comes to changing the music you listen to, or whether it just comes to just changing you as a person, you need to do it, and you need to do it like yesterday. Then we talked about it enough. Make sure y'all follow us. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at manlistenshow. Subscribe to the show on YouTube. Go to our website, www.manlistenshow.com. Go to the bio on Instagram, click the link and buy some merch. We broke. Not really. But we need some money for the show. So y'all go ahead and buy some merch. Summertime is coming. You ain't gotta rock the hoodie like I got on. You can get a t-shirt or something like that. And we'll holler at you next time. Peace. Shout out to the brat.